Welcome back to TLDR's daily briefing for Thursday the 13th of March 2025. In today's episode, we cover the prospective Ukraine ceasefire, a looming US government shutdown, a tense G7 summit in Canada, and more. But first, a major healthcare reform in the UK. In our main story today, we discuss the UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer's plans to reform the NHS. During a visit to Hull in Northern England, Starmer announced that he was going to abolish NHS England in a move to bring the health service back into democratic control. Starmer explained that the arm's-length body shouldn't receive about £200 billion of taxpayers' money and that he couldn't justify taxpayers funding two levels of bureaucracy. Instead, Starmer argued, the money could go towards nurses, doctors and GP appointments. It's worth asking, though, exactly what is NHS England, and why does it receive so much money from the government? NHS England was founded in 2013 by the then Conservative government, and it was designed to offer the NHS more independence and autonomy. According to its website, NHS England has a wide range of statutory functions, responsibilities and regulatory powers, which include working with the government to agree on NHS priorities. As things stand, the organisation employs around 15,300 people. This is compared to the only 3,300 people employed by the Department for Health and Social Care. When asked exactly why he was scrapping the body, Starmer explained that it's partly due to duplication. He said, "So, if you can believe it, we've got a communications team in NHS England, we've got a communications team in the Health Department of Government, we've got a strategy team in NHS England, a strategy team in the Government Department. We're duplicating things that could be done once." Once this duplication is cut, Starmer argues, it will free up more money that can be redirected to nurses and doctors. You're listening to TLDR's Daily Briefing. If you want more explainers on what's happening in the world, then you should check out TLDR's other channels. Today, we released videos on Syria's recent sectarian violence, whether Russia will agree to a ceasefire in Ukraine. You can find those videos linked in the description or show notes for this episode, or by searching for TLDR on YouTube or Nebula. A top Kremlin official has dismissed the 30-day ceasefire proposed by the United States, saying that it would give Russia nothing and only gives the Ukrainians an opportunity to regroup, gain strength, and to continue the same thing. At the same time, Steve Witkoff, the US's special envoy for President Donald Trump, has arrived in Russia for talks with officials on a ceasefire. The Russian Defense Ministry, meanwhile, has claimed that it has recaptured the town of Sudzha from Ukrainian forces in Russia's Kursk region, hours after President Vladimir Putin visited Russian commanders in the region. The United States is one step closer to a federal government shutdown after Senate Democrats ruled out supporting a Republican stopgap funding bill. The bill, known as a continuing resolution, was passed narrowly by Republicans in the House of Representatives on Tuesday night, and, if passed by the Senate, would extend funding at current levels through to the end of September, with cuts to some non-defense spending and increases for defense and immigration enforcement. Democratic Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer said funding the government should be a bipartisan effort, but Republicans chose a partisan path, drafting their continuing resolution without any input from congressional Democrats. If the standoff is not resolved by midnight on Friday, the federal government will shut down, the first shutdown since December 2018. Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif has travelled to the southwestern province of Balochistan to meet with survivors of a train attack and security force personnel who rescued more than 300 passengers from separatist insurgents. The attack and hostage scenario began on Tuesday and ended on Wednesday, when Pakistani troops killed all 33 insurgents, who had already killed 21 civilians and 4 troops. The Baloch Liberation Army claimed responsibility for the attack and had demanded the release of Baloch political prisoners and activists. For more on the insurgency in Pakistan, we actually have a video coming out on the TLDR Global channel tomorrow. Foreign ministers from G7 countries are meeting in Canada today amid rising tensions between the US and its nominal allies over President Trump's imposing of tariffs and upending of foreign policy on Ukraine. Trump's imposing of 25% tariffs on all steel and aluminium imports has been met with reciprocal measures from Canada and the European Union, for example. In a further sign of a rift within the group, Trump today threatened a 200% tariff on European wine, champagne, and spirits if the EU goes ahead with a planned tariff on American whiskey, which was announced in response to the steel and aluminium tariffs. In other news from Canada, the new leader of the ruling Liberal Party, Mark Carney, will be officially sworn in as Canada's 24th Prime Minister on Friday, bringing an end to Justin Trudeau's more than 9 years in office. That's all for today's daily briefing. We'll be back with you tomorrow, so make sure you're subscribed wherever you listen. In the meantime, you can check out the latest episode of our podcast, The World Leader Leaderboard, where we discuss which heads of government are doing well and who's doing badly every week. You can find the link in the podcast description. This was a TLDR News production hosted by Georgina Findlay, written by Ben Blissett and Rory Taylor, and produced by Scarlett Watchorn. Thanks for listening. We'll be back again tomorrow.